do boo boo. It's time for comedy intercourse with Chris. There's no Richard.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. But instead, I have Edy Hurst with me.
Hello. I'm here again to interrupt you when nobody wants or needs it. It's like, well, this conversation is going well. Nah, steamroll through. Perfect example right there.
There you go. So, Richard's gone to Amsterdam, the place where it's always crazy in Amsterdam. If anyone's been to Amsterdam and comes back, they say it was crazy.
Yeah,
the entire city has lost its grip on reality.
I mean, I went to Amsterdam once, and let me tell you,
was it crazy?
It was crazy.
Everyone finds it crazy.
Like there was, yeah,
and it's the same word. It's not. It was. People don't say mental. People don't say
no.
They say crazy.
There was we were walking through. We walked through the park. There was a man shouting at his dog to try and train it, as if the dog. He knew the dog could speak English. He just wasn't playing ball, or he could speak Dutch
instead to it.
Yeah, it's like, well, if you're not going to listen to English, I'm going to speak to you anyway.
Why don't you learn the language, dog? Why don't dogs learn more English?
So we spent all day in Amsterdam itself, and then walked back through this park. Guy was still shouting at the dog, not moved one bit. The dog was still in the exact place.
Was he trying to get the dog to move?
I don't know.
Had the dog just sat down and went, "I'm not going anywhere"?
Yeah, maybe it was that.
This is where I'm making my doggy stand.
It felt like the lamest double act.
The Finkel and Stanmore.
Finkel is who'd be the dog and who'd be the man?
It'd be like a puppet, and he'd go, "What are you going to say today, puppet?" And the puppet would say nothing. Like,
play ball, Stanmore.
Literally not playing ball.
Yeah, you don't get that a lot with
Stanmore's
dogs.
a very angry dog, I found.
I thought there was always a darkness to him. That I didn't think was appropriate for children's television, but kids love being scared, don't they?
They do.
They love it. That's what people say. They love being scared. That's why I always I hide underneath children's beds, and then I just go, "Wah!" They love it. They go, "Ah! Ah! Dad! Ah!" And I go, "Oh, he's having a great time. Great time."
That's why you're known as the bed bug in your superhero
Yeah, they
name.
call me the bed bug.
And the bed bug, sometimes in bed, sometimes vaguely insectoid.
Well, I was bitten by a bed, but I got all the powers of a bug. It was confusing how it happened.
The best thing I've done... By the way, guys, in case you hadn't guessed, this show's mainly going to be chat. Because host's not there, it's going to be a bit of fun,
Richard in here, why I bet my mouth. That's of course a callback to the last show, dear listener, where I mocked ceaselessly
Richard's womb-like mouth,
yeah,
containing thousands of
so many fish eggs in there,
fish beasts,
too
terrifying. A terrifying aquatic dream we had there.
Should we go through the contents? I've got a jingle to play whilst you do it.
All right, yeah. Wait, what contents?
That's a good shout.
Well, I've got a couple of shows I want to talk about.
Okay.
I want to talk about Bobsy Burgers. I want to talk about Seinfeld and how Seinfeld fits into other stuff. And that's about it, really.
Great.
Oh. I mean, in case you haven't guessed, I'm doing the show more or less on a whim. I could have just cancelled it. I made some jingles as well, and I didn't bring them.
Yeah, you were going to cancel it. You were saying to me, "God, should we cancel?" And I said, "Well, I've got little to nothing else to do today, so this won't really facilitate. If I don't do this, I won't get out of the house." And I don't know. I'd go a little crazy if that happened.
Oh.
I'd go a little crazy. I'd be Christopher
Walken. He'll be.
I wouldn't be Christopher Walken. I'd be Crazy Walken.
He's crazy.
That's a
Did you see him?
I've still not got that impression.
You're doing that. You're getting there.
Oh, thanks.
I don't always get it, but it's probably my best voice, and it's quite bad for me anyway. I was going to say, on the subject of scary stuff,
go on. My
sister is deathly afraid of Richard Hammond.
Really? That's a good person to be afraid of.
Not Clarkson, not May, but Hammond. And the reason is that I went on a holiday with Richard and a taller guy, and we essentially formed the Top Gear. There was a tall guy, longish hair. Yeah. There was Richard, who says dumb things constantly, Clarkson. And me being short. Yeah, I'm short, I'm Hammond. So I got this mask from my family when I got back, which had Richard Hammond on it.
This does not seem...
And instead of eyes, it was one of those paper ones that
yeah.
Instead of eyes, he has these two gaping orifices.
Oh.
And for some reason, that scared my sister.
For some reason.
The fact that, I had this terrifying Richard Hammond mask, and I do this little head tilt straight out of Doctor Who, Are You My Mummy? Are you my mummy?
Oh, I hated those.
It really creeped her out. So what I did for the following week was I'd place the mask about the house. Always in places where you wouldn't see it when you walk into a room, but always when you turn around behind you. And
this is awful.
I put it in various rooms. I put it like in these little trees that we have in like in a pot. I put it on there, and every so often she'd see it and go, ah! And you'd hear a shout. I laid it like bait, and then I'd hear it snap shut and a scream from somewhere about the house. And I realised that it was getting a bit boring. The joke was played out. She was getting more and more scared of Richard Hammond as the days went by. So what I did was, we have a loft where if you press the door like swings down, and then you can pull the ladder down.
Yeah. The old
swingy door.
The old swinger loft. That's what it used to be called.
One of my favourites.
Loved it.
So I got a baby doll, because obviously being a girl, they had a bunch of little babies when they were young. Doll baby
I can
things.
see where this is going.
And I put the mask on the baby.
Oh no.
And then I got my dressing gown rope thing and tied it around the baby and suspended it in the loft.
How old was your sister at this point?
She was 12.
She was 12. Oh, okay.
I mean, she's quite an emotional person anyway. Quite often, if she sees a dog just walking along outside, she starts crying. Not a word of lie. She will just cry when she sees a dog. It's Pavlovian at this point.
Aha!
But
Rich was meant to bring the drum kit along.
Yeah, he was. He doesn't even have one. He was meant to nick one. Can I have your drum kit, please?
Why, I've got me drum kit and me tabs, like.
And I've got me jumpers, all organised alphabetically. They're all begin with the word J. All jumpers begin with the word J.
I've got me animal jumper, like. And I got me barnacle jumper. And I
Barnacle?
got barnacles on me.
It's Newcastle, you're a port town.
That's a good point.
City.
I got me a cat jumper, like. And I got me dragon jump.
Not a lot of dragons.
This accent can't work. It can't be allowed to happen. And it won't happen.
Never again, that's the end. So she opens up. I asked her to get something out of the loft. I said, Izzy, could you put this in the loft for me? She opens it up. Bungee jumping baby with Richard Hammond's face on.
Oh god.
Unfortunately, it slipped from the baby's waist to its neck, so it looked like a hung infant Richard Hammond. And she was screaming and screaming. She was terrified. I was in hysterics. I couldn't speak for about 3 hours. It was that funny. And the final thing that I was going to do was at the front of the house. You know how you have sometimes you have like a bit of roof and then another story and then a bit more roof. Yeah. It's like it's not like a terraced house. It was one of those council-y.
That's very
anyway,
quickly,
so
that was very quickly defensive.
There was a point where it
wasn't a terrace house. It
wasn't a terrace house. I was trying to find some sort of architectural standpoint from which to move on.
Yeah, sure, I get it. Leeds University student.
I'm not a civil engineer. I don't know anything about it. So anyway, what I was going to do was I was going to go out the window at the front of the house, walk along this little roof thing, and put the mask on the window. When she opens the curtains on the morning, open the curtains.
Open the curtains, see for curtains.
Oh god, I'm so sorry.
Richard Hammond's empty face with his eyes staring blankly at her, and she wouldn't be able to sleep in that room again because Richard Hammond would be there. And I didn't end up doing that because I thought it was a bit too cruel at that point, but she still can't watch the bits of Total Wipeout where Richard Hammond talks to the camera.
I can't watch them either, but for different reasons.
So she'll go out the room for that and then come back in for when they're doing the Wipeout. The voice is fine, just the face. And she can't watch not Doctor Who, Top Gear. And I've given her a phobia of Richard Hammond through my insensibility and cruelness.
Well done, you.
And that's the scariest thing I've done.
See, now, the only thing I mean, with a revisionist history that we can do, I would, because history very much goes to the victors.
Yeah.
When the Hammond had fallen out of the loft with rope round neck, you could have at least tried to comfort her and go, he's gone now. You could have at least done that.
Sort of like The Shining.
Yeah, he's dead now. He will bother us no more, except in our dreams.
I did end up having to seal the mask in an old science test book, and then sellotape the textbook.
And wait, did you throw it off the Brooklyn Bridge then?
And then
no, because I was working that job at the bank. and I found that mask. And
Put it in your deepest vault.
I had a heck of an adventure, good sir. I turned green. I think it was mouldy. I started hallucinating. I felt like I could do anything. And then Julia Davis was there.
Your comedy got really slapstick.
Gina Davis. It doesn't matter. It was poor.
It was a Davis.
It was a ropey joke anyway. I probably should stop committing to it, but you know,
we'll run with it. That's
okay,
what we're here to do.
Linkety-link on the comedy Intercourse.
How's it? Because I feel like that section.
That was the section.
Yeah, you know, that was all right. See, normally we have a timer to time ourselves on the BCX, but we don't have the timer.
No BCX.
So I don't have any idea how long we're going on for. How long we're rolling?
We've done 10 minutes.
Oh,
10 minutes of just no show. If you guys wanted to talk about comedy, well, no. I'm going to tell you about how bad of a person I am.
You could write into us, can you? No.
That's not the right site. Yeah, you could write into us on the site. Tell us what you want to talk about. A couple of bit of admin here. When we get back in April,
okay,
we will be having a competition. Give away 2 tickets to the House of Fun Comedy Night every week, which is exciting stuff.
Oh, how did you get them?
By talking to the lovely lady who helps work out there, Katya. And she was saying, would you like to do this? And I thought, well, it would it would lend the show an air of professionalism it really doesn't deserve. So I was like, yeah, let's do this. So what it's going to be is you're going to write in your best joke into the chat.
Am I?
Well, you can. I mean, it can be any joke, but just a joke, and the best joke that people get put in gets.
How do you decide what the best joke is?
We have a adjudicator, an independent adjudicator, which will be a sock puppet I put on my hand.
Okay. Are you allowed to do jokes that other people have done? Like, are you allowed to steal jokes?
Yep, any joke.
I am gonna Jim Davidson the something out of this competition.
You're just gonna put Jim Davidson, aren't you?
I'm just gonna write Jim Davidson
Davidson.
over and over.
What a joke.
Jim Davidson. Oh, I summoned him! Ah!
He'd turn up with all the pool balls. I used to love that show where he played pool because I never understood it. I never understood the game. So
I've never seen it. I don't even know what he's doing.
It was just this weird 90s thing where he talked while people played pool. I can't even remember it exactly. But when the balls were potted, the colours came up on the bottom, and I liked the bright colours.
Fair enough.
And it spawned a lifelong love/misunderstanding of pool. Snooker even.
Where are the bright colours?
I mean, yeah, so pool, I'm not happy because it's only yellow and red. I refuse to play it. But snooker I quite like. The little rainbow of colours. No idea. You've got an order. You've got to put them in the right order. Very,
Yeah, it goes without saying. It's natural.
If you don't put it in the right order, all the other snooker players look down on you in their little waistcoats. Hello there, I've got my little waistcoat. I'm a snooker player. That's what they all sound like.
I'm a snooker player.
I'm a snooker
player.
A snook.
My accents are all over the place today.
It's Woody. I was the snook.
Oh, don't do that. That's my joke. The snook joke.
It's in my head. It's the bit I was the. Oh, Eddie does do it.
Oh, okay. Actually, no, it'll be pretty good to record it then. Do you feel we need to introduce ourselves? Because I feel like I should put my credentials down because people are just thinking, what's this hussy doing? Adding silly, unnecessary sound effects to a story. He's not even painting the picture. Yeah.
If anything, you're constructing a sculpture from the drippy clay of your words.
Oh well, that's something. I've been on the show a few times before. It's a pleasure.
I like to think you're a regular.
Yeah. Oh well, I will take that.
You sidle in. I'm sort of cleaning a dirty glass with a rag.
What are you doing here, Bobby?
I came for the sarsaparilla. Have you got a sarsaparilla for me?
It's so screechy.
Too screechy.
Say Godzilla in that voice.
Godzilla! Come get your laundry already! Damn it, woman, I'll come when I'm ready!
That's Godzilla. That's Godzilla. Anyway, yeah, I do stand-up comedy, and also I've got a radio show on the LSRFM, which Chris has been on twice now, which is very good, called Fit to Burst.
Fit to Burst with Edy Hurst.
There's a new theme tune to that now. It's like... and then it's just screaming at the end. It's great.
That's, seeing as you've done the theme tune now, that's now Fit to Burst, and we need to do Comedy Intercourse theme tune again. Bow, 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 Comedy Intercourse.
I like how it sounds like Seinfeld. It's like,
That was a good Seinfeld remix.
that was like Seinfeld free jam. Anyway, yeah,
Seinfeld
I do.
3000.
I've got this. I don't mean to brag. It's a pretty alright impression of Woody Allen. It's 100%. A lot of people think that the jokes aren't mine, but they are. I wrote them myself.
I love them.
I gone and made a funny one.
It keeps on coming back to me. I was Wordsworth, and I was sort of in tranquility, and instead of like beauty or sublime poetic realization, it's just Edy Hurst doing this voice,
Doing Woody Allen.
always in my head.
I mean, I can't. If you like me in general throughout the show, whoever's listening out there, I feel like it's an apocalypse. Like, hey, to all of you troopers out in the Mojave Desert, the nuclear radiation may be strong, but our spirit is stronger. Carry on, persevere. This is the Booge. Because I imagine there'd be the Booge, and then there's like a sort of Mad Max thing where there's the humongous who's coming along on his other radio going, just listen in. Just tune in.
They get some horrible mutated sort of deep.
Yeah, but the music's great because it's like it's a mix of all of the genres. It's like it's a mutant within itself, and it's great. Anyway, sorry.
That would be a great TV show. People just running this radio show in the nuclear apocalypse.
Mad Max Radio.
Yeah.
I mean, they talked about turning Mad Max into a Saturday morning cartoon, but I think a lot of the rape scenes they decided couldn't be portrayed in a way that children would digest
Take it
comfortably.
seriously. The children are far too rough nowadays. They're doing drugs from the age of 3, and they're in rehab by the age of 4, and they've released their first album looking back on their life by the age of 7.
I mean, that's a pretty good progression. I wouldn't mind if they...
So they didn't take it seriously.
No,
That's child's play.
you know.
Literally children's play.
And they didn't care for child's play either.
No,
Because Chucky, they thought, was a very poor character.
very plastic, very.
Waka waka.
Yeah, anyway,
Oh, God,
I can't figure out a way to shoehorn this into my set because I think it's a little bit hacky to do impressions. Not if you like find a way to do it where it's like, oh, I met Christopher Walken, but you genuinely did meet Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
It's not like you could just go, I met Christopher Walken, and he said, I'm walking.
Give me the sarsaparilla. My throat is a little bit, scritchy today.
That's just a bit annoying because it's kind of like, well,
What is it?
Everybody has a decent impression.
Yeah.
Like everybody has at least one decent impression. So it's kind of like you going on stage saying, "Hey, I can do 3 impressions." Great. So can Steve. Steve's not gone on stage because Steve understands that's something between friends. But without further ado, let me perform this.
Oh, do you want to keep it just between it? If you want it to be
No.
secret.
Well, are the logs working?
Yeah, the logs are working.
Yeah, I'd quite like to get this recorded in some form.
All right.
And I think, listeners, you deserve this. Have this as a treat. I mean, Richard's not here.
No.
Despite
How hard we try, take it. I'm feeling like he's on the show.
He's just come in. He's back from Amsterdam.
Ah,
What was it like? It was crazy.
It was crazy.
There was a dog in a park and it wasn't moving.
Still there.
And a skeleton pointing at it. The guy's died and frozen in that position.
finally, I'm going to get a pint. They don't get pints in Holland. Do they get pints? I don't think they have pints. They have because it's metric, innit?
Yeah.
Anyway,
They have quarts or flasks or globules.
I'll have a quarts. I'll have a quarts of lager beer, thanks. Right away.
Lager beer.
Lager beer.
It's both. It's a double beer.
Lager beer.
Lager beer.
Lager beer. Lager beer. Lager beer.
Lockerbie. Let's not bring that up.
Oh.
Too soon.
Too soon. Okay.
My friend made a joke about, how Lil Wayne's quite ill at the moment.
Is he?
Yeah,
no.
he OD'd while he was filming a video with Nicki Minaj. And my friend made a joke about him last night and how he was dying. And I said, it's so soon that he's not even dead yet. He's in the process of expiring. That's how too soon that joke is.
It's yeah.
It was way too soon. So anyway, yes, continue.
Okay.
Was
that yesterday? Was that your friend doing stand up for the first time, or did I pull that out? No, that's never mind. No, my head got that information from a dream.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay, so Woody Allen. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do it now. You know, it was really tough growing up in a Harlem high school. You know, I played with the basketball team. Of course, I was the hoop. I used to try, the boys would always try and slam dunk it, it'd be very painful, and so when I saw them running up with the ball, I'd try and put them off and say, "Hey, you're travelling," and they'd go, "Well, at least I'm going somewhere, buddy." My mother, she was very supportive, but of course, she was the stand.
There was a great Seinfeld episode where they just tried to get on a movie with Woody Allen. And they all annoyed Woody Allen in their various ways.
Yeah.
And it was like he was the god of New York, and they needed to appease him, which I thought was great.
I like, Seinfeld, that's something. Should we get into something?
Yeah, that's
Bob's. You're gonna have to talk to me about Bob's Burgers. I saw one episode once, and I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something with it.
Really?
Yeah, maybe it's because I'm not investing enough time in it. But it's not. I think. Maybe, do you know Dr. Katz?
Yeah, I do know Dr. Katz.
Dr. Katz. Oh, well, I kind of got a whole clip up.
Did I mention Dr. Katz to you as well? Because I wanted to talk about Dr. Katz.
No, I love Dr. Katz. I absolutely love, because Dr. Katz is the guy. They're the guys who made Bob. Well, he's Tom Snyder's the animator who made Bob's Burgers, who started off with John Katz doing this.
Wow, so we just sort of simultaneously came up with the same thing we wanted to talk about. That was amazing.
Have you, also there's Explosion Bus,
Seen that.
which is their online project, which has Jonathan Katz in as well. Nah, I don't know. It's alright. It's no Dr. Katz.
With a name like that, you kind of expect something special. If you're going to go for, look how wacky we are, Explosion Bus, you need something.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's alright. It's just, it's like, it's strange. It's sort of not quite a TV show, not quite an internet video. You know what I mean? It's interesting. Bob's Burgers anyway. Let's discuss Bob's Burgers. That was a great conversation on Bob's Burgers.
Well, you're putting on Dr. Katz.
Well, yeah, but I was doing it. It was going to be behind the scenes.
I thought you would.
Stop with your Brechtian desire to break the fourth wall for the listener. Let there be some backstage miracle.
We've installed a nice little window, double glaze, keeps it warm, but it lets them see in a bit. No, I thought you were going to put on some Bob's Burgers because you were moving the screen, but no. So anyway, Bob's Burgers is it's a comedy animation. I mean, we were talking about it last show. I've checked it out following. This is what happens. I find out stuff on the show and I go check it out and I love it and I talk about it next show because it's that great. And Bob's Burgers is really good. And what I think is great about it is it's really strong, right? There's no wasted characters. There's no weak characters. It's essentially, it's sort of, I don't know, because you can't help but compare it to The Simpsons, which is really lazy. But you want to. So, like, essentially, they function...
What do you mean in the sort of... Oh, no, go on. You're going to explain. Sorry, carry on.
So they function in two groups. You have the kids, who seem to hang out together primarily, and then you have... I mean, even go so far as to hanging out in school together, which is, terrible. It's the worst. No siblings ever talk to each other in school. Like, even if you look exactly the same.
Unbelievable.
They go, no, I don't know anything about them. My sisters are twins, and they've sort of tried to keep rumours that, like, people try and find out who they're twins with, and they're non-identical.
Right.
So they keep on pairing them with the wrong people, and they just say yes. So they're related to about half the year.
Surely last name. By that, you'd figure...
You don't know people by their last name.
You've got the same last name as them. I'm going to say... Because you two are the only people in the class that
with
have
the
same last name, you're related to Steve Ambrose. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how it works, but that's what I've been told. I kept on being told I was related to various Donkins in my school, and I wasn't.
Well, at least they were using their sort of the laws of social naming.
Yeah. But anyway, so by people that they only know by first name to other people they will pretend to be related to. So what happens anyway? So that was just how they don't like hang out. So the kids function as this lovely group. You've got Tina, you've got Jean, and you've got the girl who is played by Kirsten Shaw.
Yes.
Whose name I can't remember. But so they function really good, and they're sort of, you've got wacky, you've got sort of weird, and then you've got
Wacko, Yakko, and Dot.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Anime. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I just really love the anime. It's so good.
So yeah, and they just sort of, between them, they get up to stuff, and there was a lovely episode where they went and they did Halloweening, and a lot of it was sort of the weird sort of politics of being a kid. Like, older kids were picking on them, and then those older kids were being looked down on by teenagers, and they were helping out other kids. And it kind of, I know, it reminded me of like a little, like one of those little Disney movies or a little episode where the kids go out and they help each other. But on the other side, you've got the adults together, and there's a bit of it sort of like awkward adults. The adults are useless. Bob is kind of really sad and doesn't like stuff, but he's also kind of a loser. He's, he never really got one of the things is, one of the episodes, he finds all his old toys, and they're just things that were in a burger place because his dad made him work. So he had like this little bit of soap and a bit of steel wool and a rusty sort of spatula. He was like, "These are my toys." So he's kind of like this loser, and then his wife's kind of weird and but lovely again. They're always lovely. There's very rarely
it's nice characters.
A malevolent family set up. Very rarely do you have that sort of, because it's just not nice to watch. So the units function quite nicely, and sometimes they do stuff as a family, sometimes they split off into two. And I kind of feel like it's two shows that are sort of stuck together, the kids bit and the adults bit. And they interact a bit, and they usually interact at the end when, whatever the kids have got involved with is brought back to the adults, or whatever the adults are involved with, they talk to the kids about it. And it was really strong. It all, like, the jokes were funny, the ideas were funny. It was sort of, it did the nice bit of where it pokes fun at stuff people do in real life, but also it was weird enough to be weird. I was impressed by how good it was. I was like, this is really good.
Good. What would you give it out of sardines?
Out of sardines?
Out of sardines.
Anchovy.
Anchovy. That's very good. Might have to. Yeah, I didn't know it was anchovy good. I might have to go off and watch it.
I mean, it's. I don't say anchovy easily, Eddie. It's not
no,
very
it's
often.
It's a tricky word.
It's. It's not very often, I say anchovy. So when I do, it's special.
Stop showing off that you can say it good.
Anchovy.
Anchovy. So
I've lost it.
Bobbity Boo's Burgery Bob's.
Bibbidi bop bop.
I love this show. This is great. This is Dr. Katz.
Yeah,
and
I've been watching it as well.
Well, you love this show. It's great.
Let's just watch it for the rest of the show.
We should try something new
Can we
tonight.
hear it?
I feel like we're in a rut.
Maybe tonight we
hear
just
it.
don't go out. Monday night.
Anyway, so
we'll switch
what
it
I
up
want you
and
to
we'll
do at
make it
home
eat-in
is
night.
just sit back.
I'd like to miss
what do we do? Are we just
rhythm of the
playing the episode? I don't know if we should.
Why did you put? I thought you had like a bit that you specifically wanted us to
No,
hear.
I just wanted the whole episode. I just wanted 22. I thought, how long? 22 minutes? Bang it on.
That'll fill up the show. So what I want you to do at home, just go put the kettle on, make yourself a sandwich or something, bit of bit of butter, maybe some ham. Is there some ham left? There might be some ham left.
There's probably ham left.
There's always ham left.
Always ham. Anyway, what I wanted to show, it's a very rambly style. Like they improvised it and then animated it, and it's a great show. And also, you
can tell because they say where they are as well.
Yeah.
And they do stuff like, well, can I have a drink? Can I have a drink? And they'll go, yeah, well, this is a bar, And he goes, oh, yes, so I'll have, well, what do you have at this bar? Well, we have all the alcohol because it's a bar.
It's a really nice show, and the characters work really well together, which is sort of how a show should work. Anyway, but another interesting thing that I'd recommend you going off and watching Dr. Katz for is if you're interested in sort of a lot of the comedians in America that are absolutely huge now, were guests on the show when they were sort of, they were doing TV spots, but they weren't massive.
Yeah, I was watching the Conan one, where with his tiny little eyes. Just seeing these comedians in a cartoon form as well is really funny. Yeah. Ray Romano was on one. I was going to send that to Richard
before they get massive, and it's like them just. I mean, it's not particularly interesting what they do. It's fun to see their sets. It's like the sort of set they'd take to the Tonight Show.
Yeah,
so they're just. It's like Dr. Katz is meant to be this therapist, and so the stand-up comedians come in, they sit on the couch, and they just sort of do their act to him.
It's really nice, though, because a lot of stand-up I've found is sort of like someone opening that people have to say what's on their mind, and it's usually big stuff, and you get a lovely idea of people's insecurities and obsessions.
Yeah.
So the psychiatrist bit is a really nice idea.
It's curious. It's not, sort of curious. I don't know if curious is the right word. I just didn't want to say interesting again.
Interesting. Curious.
It's curious.
Indeed.
It is curious and it's interesting. It's not curious. It's interesting that because there's no laugh track and because there's no energy, there isn't any energy. It's just
it's
Dr.
really
Katz
low
going,
energy.
It's the sets themselves are very weird. It's
they
very
become
interesting
philosophical.
But like there's Todd Barry on one, Mitch Hedberg's on one, Emo Phillips is on it. It's just a
Tom
great.
Kenny's on one.
Yeah. It's just this incredible survey of stand-up comedy talent in the sort of 90s, because it went on for I think it was 7 or 8 seasons or something.
Yeah, there was a load. It was on Comedy Central.
So there's a big old bunch of them that I would. Very much recommend you go to one. Sorry, I've tired myself out with the excitement.
Have you come down?
Sleepy.
Eddie's just like a roller coaster. In case you didn't know, he reaches points of energy where he starts doing a voice or something, and his arms start flying out, and it becomes like Mr. Messi from the Mr. Men.
No,
that you become him, and like this bit's going off everywhere. And
I'll take that.
Your eyes floating away, and it comes back, and then. When you run out of energy, you just become a person again.
Just fall asleep.
You just fall asleep.
That's all I got.
Curl up somewhere, fall asleep. So, yeah, I was really enjoying that. I have actually been watching quite a lot of Conan, which is weird.
Oh, yeah. The new Conan or old Conan?
Both, actually. A selection. And it's an interesting setup he's got. I mean, there was a lovely video where he talks to his producer, whose name is Tom Schlansky, who thinks he's George is getting upset. Who thinks he's Italian, and he's got like this like espresso machine that he's hidden away near his office.
Yeah. And
Conan comes in and goes, "So what are you doing in here? Did you buy all of this stuff?" And the guy goes, "No, you bought this." And then he goes, "Oh, what's this espresso machine? It's espresso." And I don't drink American coffee. American coffee isn't. You are American. You realise, yeah. Italian coffee is the only way. So he's got this pretension, and I think it's kind of a character, but it's done in this lovely deadpan way.
Yeah.
And Conan's always kind of angry. Is the fun thing about him. He's like, I was watching. He gets an animal guy in every so often, and he brings in animals, and he'll put like an otter on Conan's desk, and Conan will be freaking out. And the animal guy's just this big kid. He's like, "Oh, it's really cool, and watch what the owl can do, and watch what this lynx can do." And Conan's like, "Oh, yeah, just shove this lynx in my face, it's fine." And there's this sort of anger to him, which is kind of, I don't know, it's not quite as friendly. There's a tension to it, which is really fun.
I think it's sort of Conan's the progression of talk show hosts he sort of is and isn't, because he was. And then there was the whole mess with Jay Leno, which was kind of like, well, no, he isn't, because the networks don't like him, which they do, but this is a very messy way to say. He plays about with the format much more than anybody else. Like, he really wants to take it into a different place. He was a guy who watched Letterman, he watched Leno, and he sees, like, because, Letterman was a big guy because he got rid of the sidekick. Like, before then there was Carson, who had a sidekick. All the chat show hosts had a sidekick with them that they used to bounce off, and so it would be a 3-man interview. But then it changed, and now Conan's changing it to sort of, people have seen the celebrities so often now
Yeah.
That it's more interesting to see them do something, because talk shows are kind of like just a place to flog your crap.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's sort of trying to move it and change it and do something else with it, which is interesting. I think. And he's been doing it for a while now.
Who's the guy that plays Kenneth on 30 Rock?
Oh yeah, I
He
don't know
sent
his
him to
name,
get-
but
Yeah, he sent him to get like hot dogs from the angriest hot dog place in Chicago, and he's got this like really sort of soft and nice voice, and I was impressed.
hello, sir. That's not it. But yeah, he had this lovely southern accent.
Yeah, this lovely. And it's his real voice. Like the character that he plays is more or less himself, which I love when the character becomes a person becomes a character.
Yeah,
and the line is sort of blurred. So, yeah, I was just impressed by the amount of stuff. Triumph, the comic insult dog, I was killing myself at that. And I was just impressed by the variety of stuff that he was doing, and how fun it was to watch, because talk shows are quite dry stuff, usually. And usually you're relying on the celebrities to make them fun, and the host is...
It's that sort of like with Leno, it's interesting to hear interviews of people like comedians. They go like, you've got two funny stories, tell them. Leno will ask you about them. Tell those stories. They will be entertaining. It's like,
And the audience, I mean, I don't know what they do to the audience. There's something about American talk show audiences that they're like a mob. They just love screaming.
It's the guys, they get the stand-ups. The guys, I'm fascinated by the guys who do the stand-up before sitcoms and before shows. The warm-up guys, because it's amazing. Like they have them for Countdown as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they get them for all sorts of shows. These guys who come in, they do stand-up comedy. They get the audience a bit warmed up. Because my girlfriend went to see Countdown. Was it Countdown? No. Dead Air. Fantastic. She went to see a TV show that wasn't necessarily funny. Like, it wasn't a funny show. It wasn't one that people were
9
like...
9 out of 10 counts.
Yeah, it wasn't, these are some funny people, the point is to joke. It was just a show which had a live audience in. I mean, I'm guessing they don't do this for question time.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know, maybe you get Starkey up there, puts a few jokes. The one about Richard III, I could see that.
Yeah, he could do it. He could bust it out. So that was Conan O'Brien.
He reminded me a lot of John.
Who? Me?
Conan.
John probably reminds you a lot of Conan. No, I mean, yeah, probably that way round rather than the other. Because John's a massive Conan fan.
Really?
Yeah. He's a big... John, he's like an encyclopedia of America. This is John Newell. Sort of
unnecessarily cruel.
Me and him and Chris and Richard, we sort of have a cooperative of comedy nights that we're currently setting up.
Yeah.
Side room is tomorrow on Sunday. It's only an open mic with free entry.
Oh, that was lovely.
Thank you.
That was quite tuneful as well.
Yeah.
You held the note well.
I'm not that bad a singer.
I know. I was listening to put it in your pocket.
I'll have that as a quote. Not that bad a singer.
Not that bad.
I mean, he's not great. I wouldn't write home about him, but he's certainly tickety-tick.
He's
tickety-tock.
Doesn't sound that painful.
Not as painful as some.
You know the sound that they play when the guy's stabbing the person in the shower in Psycho?
Yeah.
Chin, chin, chin. That's me singing.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting that you got the work before you were born. I mean, that must have been really tricky. How did it happen?
Well, I am 80,
Oh, you look great.
Thank you.
Jeez. Can I touch your face?
No, you have done before. You've never.
Ooh.
Convention has never stopped you.
Actually, feels like really smooth leather.
Well, it's what's happened is I've just removed all my excess skin.
You don't say.
Sent it to Libya for them to construct parachutes from, and
skin doesn't feel like the best material to make parachutes. I mean, who am I to judge?
Someone tell the Libyans that they buy it by the bucket load. Let me tell you. just sheets and sheets of it, and that's how it's. I've carried on keeping this youthful visage.
It's kind of creepy.
It is. That was a weird one.
Comedy Intercourse.
It's two guys in a room, possibly saying things that don't make sense. Just assume it's funny.
This is like...
Is that a chicken? Was that some sort of cockerel?
Yeah, it's like with Shock Jock.
I didn't ask for that there.
Wow.
What is it? Someone and the douche.
yeah, on
Just-
Parks and Rec.
Just the extension of the word douche. Douche. They've got a. I think I modelled the radio show on that show actually. I modelled Comedy Intercourse on that. I've been working on the paddling pool full of Jello to get people in.
The paddling pool... No, I can't.
I mean, back in the day,
the paddling pool full of Jello.
me and
No,
Eddie,
got it. I
we
can't
did
do
this little radio show. It wasn't special or anything, but we did have a paddling pool full of Jello. We just wallow around in it before the show.
Hickory dickory dock. I'm covered in Jello.
That's it.
I'm covered in Jello. 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 I'm trying to walk in a conversation with you, Governor.
Oh.
What do you say about that? Good day, Christopher Walken. I'm from London. I'm from Australia. I don't know.
Stopping time.
Oh dear.
That got away from us fast.
Hey, listen to this.
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out before I pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home.
Brilliant. I love that's my favourite bit of Seinfeld.
I can't believe that someone said the video that we just watched had high quality at the end. So someone saw the video and went, hang on a second, I need this in higher definition.
Let me tell you a story. 3 years ago, that was a pretty hard clip to find. But now, everywhere.
People are handing them out at fairs, just...
Yeah, it's just like, hey, do you want the George Costanza answer machine?
They open it up like a little card and it starts playing.
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message. I love it. Seinfeld's just... I think... I'm going to say it, and I'm aware it's contentious. You're giving me a look right now.
I'm waiting for it.
And I will back this up, and it's not necessarily my favourite sitcom, but I do think Seinfeld is possibly the best sitcom ever made.
It's so good. It's just...
Oh, I was expecting more of it.
No, it's...
Tussle.
I agree. Alright then, I'll play devil's advocate.
No, it's alright, no.
What are they doing? They don't learn anything. There's no real romance.
Yeah, there's always... It follows sitcom convention, as in, there are protagonists, everybody has somewhere they're trying to escape out of, and then they never do. Because that's kind of the standard sitcom. It's protagonist, trap.
They've got to be
trying to escape
in the situation.
Yeah. So there's always that going on. All the characters you hate and love at the same time.
Yeah.
There's none of them are decent characters. The only person who ever shows any form of altruism is Kramer, and he's a freeloading jerk.
He's just this... I mean, I watched this documentary about making it, and they said that they were kind of awkward about the Kramer character, because he's a wacky neighbour.
Yeah.
And they felt that was kind of lazy, but the fact that it was based on a real person sort of gives them free run, because you do have wacky neighbours, Some people are just weird.
Yeah, I mean...
And there's nothing funnier than weird people, because it's real.
It's the way... I think it was just... There was brilliant... It was absolutely brilliant writing with absolutely fantastic cast. Because sometimes you get writing scrubs that's lazy, but the actors are so likeable that it gets you through.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's fair to say Scrubs was lazy.
Hooch is crazy.
Hooch
is definitely crazy. Yeah, we've established... Hooch is crazy. We're going to continue saying Hooch is crazy. Eager! Scrubs was really catchphrasy, was my problem with it. And the characters were more caricatures.
Yeah, like Tom Milson, who's one of the guys that runs Howl. This feels like a big dirty name drop, but I'm just doing it to try and paint a picture. Because... Right. But anyway, I was talking with him about this.
Yeah.
I could have said I was talking with a friend, but I think he might get annoyed if I say we're friends. I was talking with Tom about Scrubs.
An unnamed Tom.
And he said that he doesn't think there would be any of the weird sitcoms now. Or there would be, if it wasn't for Scrubs, there'd be no Arrested Development, there'd be no Comedy Bang Bang, there'd be none of the, because Scrubs was the first one to do sort of strange, surrealist non sequiturs.
I'm amazed that Comedy Bang Bang was made, actually. It's brilliant, but...
Well, it's on IFC, which I think IFC are doing something. IFC and Adult Swim, at the moment, are the most interesting and pioneering American show, like American network things in America. Where else would they be? I'm really smart at stuff. Because they know they've not got a massive viewership. They're not looking to get a bigger viewership or a significantly larger one. So they see Comedy Bang Bang, WTF with Mark Maron, Bunk. All of these have they pull a crowd. These people, the personalities pull a crowd in, but they're by no means going to be like, whoa, this guy he's the new Leno. Yeah. You know, he's going to bring in Leno figures. No, he's not. But it's a niche, and that's why they're there. It's people who like them getting it. So they can do, like, Comedy Bang Bang can be what it is, because they know, it's not like they're trying to get massive numbers. They're just trying to make programs that they like.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's on TV anymore, IFC.
Really?
I think it might all be online.
But that's kind of cool that people are doing stuff just online now as well, and that's becoming a possibly...
I mean, I could be wrong there.
Adult Swim's always had quite a big online presence.
Yeah. Well, with Profit... no, carry on, actually. Finish your point, and then I'll say something, if that's all right.
No, I've forgotten what my point was going to be.
Oh, I've ruined the whole day. Anyway, Dan Harmon of Community fame and alcoholism.
No, keep on saying that.
I don't know where that's from. I think some, like, Tom, among others, have theories about people being alcoholics, and they keep pushing it, and it's like, well, I don't think he's an alcoholic. No, he's an alcoholic.
But
how do you prove? But he doesn't.
So you're the brainwashed mass, essentially. Tom's pushing forward
It just
propaganda.
It amuses me that anybody slightly chubby who's in comedy is an alcoholic to Tom. Like Paul F. Tompkinson, he was convinced was an alcoholic, and it's like, he's not. It's not Paul F. Tompkins, is it? No, it's Paul F. Tompkins, not Tompkinson. Why did I say that?
Tom S. Paul
Tompkins, he's great. Fudging love him. Oh, that was close. Had to gobble that word back up. Anyway, Dan Harmon was saying, when you mentioned Profit making money out of the internet, and what's your view on this? Like, as a I think comedy is something that can exist easily on the internet and is much more accessible online than, say, drama or tragedy or I mean, documentary does pretty well online.
I've remembered my point.
Go on.
My point is that, this is my big theory, is that comedy is sort of a group activity inherently. If you're ever telling a joke to someone, they need to understand the same stuff as you do.
Yeah, there needs to be the context.
And when the punchline hits, part of that's funny. You're solving a little puzzle. You create something weird, and people go, why is he saying this? There's the realization. But there's also the, I found this funny, he found this funny, everyone else in the room found this funny. And it's kind of, it's a communal
it's bringing
activity.
it's inclusive. I mean, this is one of the things that I find interesting about stand-up comedy in particular, is the inclusive exclusiveness, because everybody in that room, this is one of the things with 70s comedians, which is, no, that's too big a jump, forget that.
No, don't go for it.
Okay.
I'll pull it back.
It'll take a while, it might not take a while. We've got 13 minutes here, and we're literally galloping over things, our hooves just tickling subjects every now and then. Inclusive exclusivity. Exclusive is when you break up people. That's, but with the sort of 70s working men's club comedians who were racist and who were insulting, and that you'd use the justification, like with Frankie Boyle as well, you use the justification, well, I'm insulting everyone, aren't I? No, because you're not Frankie Boyle is not insulting the white middle-class audiences that come to see him.
Yeah.
He's attacking everybody but, and likewise...
Sometimes he'll pick on one person that has the audacity to stand out, but by people heckling, by people shouting out, they've stood out themselves. They've excluded themselves.
Yeah, and Bernard Manning likewise would be like, well, I insult everyone. No, you wouldn't insult the white working class men who went to your working men's club.
Yeah.
Who just you would include everybody in the room in excluding the rest of the room. And so there's that, and that's used in a negative way.
Yeah.
But there's also the idea that you can bring a room together in inclusivity. But the joke is always you're making fun of the outside world.
You're making fun of someone, be it, the madness of humanity in general. Or
yeah, my question, I guess, my wonder is that is it? I've built this up for nothing. Oh God. It's a Trojan tower! No, my point was, do you think, what's your point of view on this? Do you think stand-up comedy can ever be truly inclusive? Or does it have to exclude certain people and build up certain boundaries?
I think there is essentially a sort of, what are they doing? What's going on there in everything that people do? And even, it's... I guess some of the silly jokes don't work, but stuff like crime in a multi-story car park, that's wrong on so many levels. It's hard to read a sort of narrative into that. That's wordplay more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's not a comment on crime so much as people just go, oh yeah, crime is wrong.
What is this?
That wasn't Tim. I can't remember whose joke that was. I was just trying to think of a joke which is a word play, essentially. And I'm trying to see whether this theory that comedy is essentially exclusive, inclusive, holds up to it. I guess, yeah, with that one it does work, because you do have a collective morality behind it. You go, crime is wrong on so many levels. There's a awareness of a social matrix within which people operate. So yeah, I don't know. I think that when comedy is its least exclusive is when a comedian starts eating up themselves. And you see it when people start going into themselves and they go, I do this thing, I don't understand why I do it. John Richardson is who I'm thinking of.
You mean the sort of confessional comedian style?
Yeah, the confessional type. And I think what that's doing is he's essentially excluding himself. He's saying, this is me, and then he's turning and he points behind him and goes, look at what I do.
Yeah.
What's with me? I'm so weird. So there is a sense of exclusion. A sort of, once you tell a joke, I've got this theory that once you tell a joke, it ceases to be yours. It's who you are changes, and no matter what your intentions are, it's how people see that you've told the joke, that it's how it's done, basically. So you can't say, oh, I didn't mean that, because if they took it to mean that, that's what you meant. That's how it works. It ceases to become, as soon as you say something, it ceases to become you, and you're a performance, and it's people's impression of you. And any sort of idea of interior, identity, like, oh, no, I'm not like that, actually, isn't the case. You are only what you appear to be, and then, like, nothing more. Because how can you prove that? How can you prove that, it's the act of expressing yourself by which we gain a reality. And that's very weird, and yeah, uni radio. So
getting deep about telling fart jokes.
I'm doing little hand movements in case you can't see in the radio.
It is the way of, when you learn to be yourself, you can truly be no one. When you are no one, you can truly be someone. When you are someone, you can truly understand Mr. Blobby.
Who's that? Who said that? No
Cow.
No Cowell. Well, you certainly
the
changed
father
the
of Noel
context
Edmonds.
Oh, so I see. So
it's
Noel's
Japanese way.
Noel's surname first. Interesting.
People don't realise that.
Very
also
good. Very good.
Christmas.
We have
7 minutes.
7 minutes left. Should we wrap up? Is there anything else you want to talk about? You want to say?
Oh, if there was, I've forgotten it by this point. What else was it? I wanted to ask about gigs, but
okay. Well, like I said, tomorrow is Tonight is the alt ball. There's some guys performing there, but that's a ball. That's a bit more private.
You
kind of needed a
money to
ticket
go
and
there.
a suit. But tomorrow is the
side room.
the side room, which is Mutant Comedy's open microphone night.
It is. Hang on a sec. You've stopped making a sound in my.
Oh, well, I can still hear me.
Oh, there you go. It's working.
Can I? Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, good.
Just checking that was
Technical
working. So, yeah.
difficulty. Student radio.
The side room.
Side room, yeah, it's open mic. If you fancy doing stand-up comedy, come along. Or send us an email tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you'll get some time.
You can get the juicy 8-minute sets.
Well, I mean, if you've never been on stage before, I wouldn't go for the 8 minutes. It's dangerous. But
that's the mechanism for which you get the longer sets.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to do an 8, right then tomorrow, send an email in and ask. By all means. But if you just fancy coming along and watching as well, you're more than welcome to. That's at the Breednell Social Club.
I mean, last time it was a lovely night.
It was really nice. You were fantastic. Chris did his first, was it first?
Yeah.
Second stand-up gig.
The first one I did wasn't really stand-up. I just went up on a stage and told a bunch of jokes.
Yeah, that counts.
I just said...
That's kind of how stand-up comedy works.
Yeah, but...
Going up on stage telling a bunch of jokes.
I don't count, because I didn't try very hard. I just said, look, I've got a bunch of stuff. Tell me if any of this is good, and said it. And some people laughed and some people didn't, and some of it worked and some of it didn't.
Fair enough.
Which was weird, but I guess it was what I've been doing for a while, just to my friends, because they can't tell me to shut up, because I've started so quickly.
Powerful words.
An avalanche of jokes, and they're just like, stop it, don't want any more. More.
Cool.
Morty?
Yeah, so, that's Sunday. Not a lot else to... Oh, 3rd of April's The Wrong Show. That's Tom Milson and John Newell's venture.
Those filthy men.
Those filthy fellas. Thank you very much for having me on the show. I've had a blast.
Oh, it's lovely.
I hope you have at home, listener. I'm going to plug myself disgustingly. Is that above board?
Go on, plug away.
I'm Edy Hurst. I've been him for a while now. And
you're getting quite good at it as well.
Thanks. I feel
sometimes you mess up.
Yeah.
You become someone else, but you're usually Edy Hurst.
Well, that means a lot to me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can follow me on the Tweetbone if you enjoyed me here. I'm at Edy Hurst, which is it's at EDYHURST. That's how you spell it because I spell my name funny, and also Hurst can go both ways for the I or the U. So thought I'd specify.
Got to be specific. Well, if you like me, check me out on Twitter. I'm at Catboxman.
Catboxman.
Which I like it. It's a weird phrase. I don't want to put my name as the thingy. Like I've got my name attached to it.
No, I like Catboxman. I think it's cool.
I mean, I've had Catboxman for years now. It's become a part of me. I like cats. I like boxes. I am a man.
And you like men.
I like men. So a combination of the bunch of them is good.
That was an easy joke. I'm sorry I went for that.
Yeah, I do. They're pretty.
I'm
cool.
I'm sort of falling asleep here. I'm lying back,
leaning. He's been doing some.
I've been Edy Hurst for so long now. I'm just so knackered.
In case you can't see in the studio, listener, on the radio,
you probably can't.
Edy's been. I mean, you might have like a telescope on the other side of the.
There used to be a webcam in here.
Really?
Yeah, last year, but then it stopped working halfway through, and they just sort of thought nobody really wants to see that anyway.
The student radio.
Student radio.
So he's been leaning back further and further, been fiddling around with the microphone, holding it in various ways.
Yeah, I feel like a bizarre sort of, like I imagine what American DJs are like when they're sort of like, so, what's your band called? We're like the Flaming Harpies. All right, Flaming Harpies on Discbox FM. And then they're just like, because they're doing a 3-hour stints, they'll just be like sitting back going, hey.
Like a liquid in a container.
Somebody call the fashion police. There's been a robbery at the textiles factory.
I like the, I've been trying to make a joke with fashion and fascism. Like a fascism police, but never mind. I just thought that the connection...
I think you should keep that a secret, please.
Secret. I like how police became please as well.
Yeah, I like how police sounds like please. Police! Will somebody police stop these cops running through my house?
Police! Open the door!
Yeah.
Police! Stop telling these knock-knock jokes.
Well, they said it with manners. All right, cool. That was the show.
Also, check
on.
out at @C_intercourse, which is our
Oh,
Twitter feed.
yeah. Do that.
And also Comedy Intercourse on YouTube, where you can find all the previous shows that I've recorded. We lost all of... Well, I've got a couple of episodes from first season saved in various forms, various things. The logs were in a state of disrepair all of last year, and we ended up losing all of them, which was a shame. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, I've got a couple, but if I can't put them all up, I don't feel like I should.
I'd like to hear them. I'd like you to put them up if you can.
Oh... I don't know whether I have the one with you and John, actually.
That's all right. Oh, you don't forget it then.
No, I was thinking because I wanted to listen back to that one.
Well, don't worry about it, fella. It's all right. I didn't like the first one I was on with Callum was terrible.
Really?
Not the show itself. Just me on the show.
Oh.
I wasn't very good.
You were great. Well, we were kind of scared anyway. Like, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just like,
was
what's
that like
going
the second one or something?
Yeah, it was one like first or second.
Anyway,
the first one we had Mr. Mike Hewitt tonight.
I feel like Bill Murray to your David Letterman. I'm Bill Murray, damn it! I'm the cool one.
I certainly am not the cool one.
You might be.
I've got a coat on in here.
That's true.
Right one. But then again, you've got a lovely little jumper there.
Oh, it's lovely. It's all right.
Is it cotton? Bit of cotton
Probably. I find it confusing because I feel horrible wearing this jumper. I bought it and then I just looked because, third world country stuff, sweatshop. This was made in Bangladesh and then finished in Taiwan.
Wow.
So it's like they went, well, we're not outsourcing enough here. We need to send it to somewhere else. And we need to make more children work on this than just one. The
children in one factory went, I don't have time for this. We'll send it to some other children we know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we need to outsource this. This is ridiculous. China, yeah, we need to send you a jumper. Okay.
Even the children are outsourcing to children.
It's terrible. This is the world we live in.
It's a Russian doll situation.
And with that bit of factoid, I think that's the end of the... Well, I'm going to go. You can sit there if you want.
Check out Fit to Burst with Edy Hurst.
Oh, yeah, please do. It's Mondays, 2 till 3. But the shows are online. And are getting online. Is it alright if I let you know? Could I come on when the podcasts start happening to give it a dirty plug?
Yeah. I love it when you're on the show.
Oh, I love it when you're on the show.
Oh, thank you. So do I, actually. It's
fun. It's good ego trip, innit?
Yeah.
Feels great.
But basically, that's what you do. If you want to get into radio, what you need to do is have an ego the size of a small planet, and you just massage it in other people's as much as possible.
I think also with radio, you want a passive ego. With radio, you want a passive ego.
Yeah, Eddie's just stood up. He's like giving up. Yeah, let's finish the show.
Who's the next show on? I feel bad making them wait around.
The next show is Hot Porridge. Are they out there?
Oh, no, Hot Porridge aren't there. Oh, all right. Well, there's no rush. Well, it's getting to... I suppose we should stick on the jukebox.
Yeah.
Jukebox.
So, thank you for listening to Comedy Intercourse. We did talk about comedy eventually, of various varieties. Thanks for tuning in, if you did tune in.
Should we do the theme tune while we leave?
We'll do it theme tune backwards.
Okay.
Intercourse comedy. With special guest this week, Mr. Edy Hurst.
Oh, that's me.
You.
Tisser Yidder.
Tisser.
Bye!